Hey, this is Tuhon Aditya from LightHaven. Today we're going to be doing a video about the difference in training principles, training for principles, and training for technique. This is going to apply across whether you're doing single stick, double stick, any weapon system, and you can also say this applies across all martial arts, whether weapons or empty hands. Let's just quickly talk about first what is the difference, what is a principle, right? Because we keep throwing this word around principles, but this is one question that I remember someone asked me and I was dumbfounded and I was stumped when they said, what is a principle? Now, for the sake of our conversation right now, I'm going to be using principles to denote the why behind what it is that we do. So, why am I making a certain entry in a certain context? Why does this work versus why have I made this choice? Why is this the right choice versus all of the other choices? Because essentially, when you're looking at martial arts, I know this is quite a common saying now, it's problem solving with high consequences. And when weapons are involved, those consequences are even higher. Now, there are many right answers and there are many wrong answers. But there are a couple of principles or whys that make the right answers right and the wrong answers wrong. And if we understand those, then it becomes easier for us to find more of those right answers, because again, the way that I approach things, the way that I like to do things, my way of moving, my way of fighting, my preferences will differ from everyone else's because my personality, my body, etc. is different from yours. However, if you can understand why I made a certain choice, why it was the correct choice, then you can find your own solution to the problem using the same principles. So let's say we can take an example of what it is that I'm talking about. Now let's say that we are doing diagonal lines and I'm making an entry. Right? Let's say I'm making a really simple entry. I'm going to use a reverse diagonal to cut her hand, one more time. And then I'm going to step in, use a diagonal angle to cut her hand, trap or tap the arm, come back with a circular finish. From the other side once, let's see this. So I'm going diagonal lines, I go a reverse diagonal line, bang, bang, and I cut. Now, this is a really straightforward sequence. It's just, I'm using my footwork to keep myself safe. It's up to me. Am I going to step back or am I going to step 45 degrees? And then I'm going to step in again 45 degrees, cut the hand, trap the hand, cut their head. Now, I can give you many sequences like this, sequences of 3 steps, 4 steps, whatever, to make entries, finish the fight. You can even continue this, take her down, disarm, all of those kind of things. However, there's going to be a lot of difference, a lot of change if she makes one small adjustment, which is instead of giving me a diagonal line, she gives me a horizontal line. Now suddenly, especially if it's a medium horizontal line, suddenly this sort of reverse diagonal is not as accessible. I can still use the same footwork, sort of. Actually, I'm not using the same footwork already because I was using a 45-degree footwork earlier. I cannot use the same footwork over here. Even if I step back, that reverse diagonal is not as easy for me to access as it was with the diagonal line. So she's made one very small change, and now that requires me to, again, change everything. Now I have to teach a whole other set of techniques to be able to apply it to this specific situation. This is one way of learning, and there's nothing wrong with it. There are many martial arts that do this. Even in my martial art, Pikirita Shakali, to an extent, there are people who teach this way. There's nothing wrong with this at all. However, for me, the way that I learn, the way that I like to train, I prefer understanding things which gives me a better ability to problem solve on the fly. Because I don't know if she's going to give me a diagonal or a horizontal beforehand. You can say through experience, I may be able to predict it with a high degree of certainty, but I can never be 100% certain that she's going to give me exactly what I have practiced, right? So I need to be able to problem solve on the fly. Now, a principle would be saying, all right, when she's coming to cut you, my footwork principles would be, why did I step 45 degrees? I stepped 45 degrees essentially because I want to end up on the outside of her body towards the weapon arm. This gives me a better chance to later on control this weapon arm and then make a safer entry. I can do the same thing if I need to, stepping inside, but now because that arm is there, her legs are there, I'm in between her shoulders, it's much easier, she has many more options and it's a little bit harder for me to control that weapon arm. So that's why I'm stepping 45 degrees this way. A simpler, a simple explanation of the footwork can also be, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give her a target and then vacate the space of that target. I'm trying to get her to cut. I'm trying to get her to cut me, and using my footwork to keep myself safe, I'm looking to cut her hand. So whether that means, now this gives me options. I don't only have to step 45 degrees. I can also step backwards. I can step backwards 45 degrees. I could even step 90 degrees because I'm vacating this space and cutting the hand that is there from the attack that's coming to cut me. I'm not looking at blocking. I'm not looking at deflecting. I'm looking to show her, hey, I'm here. When that cut comes, I'm vacating space and cutting that hand. Now this gives me options. Now whether it's a horizontal strike or a thrust or whatever, the same principles of footwork apply, right? I'm making space, drawing that attack, and then I'm cutting that hand. That's the first step. The next principle would be, let's say I've come here. Now I need to control this arm. Yes, I can just grab onto that arm, but it's much easier for me to control it after I've hit it. If this is a sword, I'm not cutting that arm. I'm cutting it and controlling it. This ties into the principle that we worked before this, which was again, why am I cutting that arm and why am I not going directly to her head? It's that defying the snake principle where I'm looking to take away her ability to hurt me. Whether she drops the stick or whether it just slows her down. Attacking her arm means that I'm a little bit safer, or maybe she can attack me with a little bit less power, or it gives me a little bit more time to follow up with whatever else it is that I'm going to do. So I'm attacking that arm once, I'm attacking that arm twice, and then I'm looking to control that arm. I'm looking to control that arm from a certain point, from just around this elbow region, from about just below the elbow to just below the tricep. Because this gives me a lot of control. Whether palm down or palm up, it gives me a lot of control. And now that I'm on the outside using my footwork, I have cut that arm, controlled that arm. Now I can look to finish in however it is that I'm looking to finish, while it still is giving me a route to leave. So I can be finishing as I am leaving to be able to fight whoever it is that I'm fighting next. Because again, remember, this is a guerrilla warfare type system. So understanding why I've made the choices I've made gives me a lot of options to adapt. That if anything changes, still sticking to the same principles, I can still adapt to the situation and make the correct choices. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. Please do comment or ask any questions. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to know more about our Patreon page and the exclusive content that we offer there, check out the link in the description down below. Lastly, our online classes are up and running. Our residential program is up and running. So to train with us wherever you are in the world or with us here in Goa, check out the email address I'm going to leave in the link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next video.